Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money, with your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 458 of Screw the Commute podcast. This is what I call a special edition. We've got Charlie Collins on here. Charlie is a very, very inspirational guy who started losing his sight when he was, I think, about 13 years old and went through whatever happens to a person. He'll tell us about it when that happens to you after, starting out life with normal vision. And then he's in the program we're doing with my school. So we'll tell you what he's learning, what it's going to mean to him, and all that. So we'll get to that in a minute. All right, I hope you didn't miss episode 457 and 454. 457 was this Monday, which was part 2 of a 2-part series on email marketing. 454 was last Monday, which was part 1. And I've covered email marketing a couple years ago, but the thing is there's been some significant changes that you need to know about. So make sure you catch both of those, because guess what? Email is where the money is. All this social media stuff is a necessary evil to get them off of there and get them on an email list. So check out 454 and 457. And anytime you want to get to a back episode, just go to screwthecommute.com/ and then the episode number. All right, grab a copy of our automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/automate free. We sell this book for $27, but it's yours free for listening to the show. And it saved me millions of keystrokes and allows me to get my work done way faster and get more work done in the same amount of time. And also, one other really important thing, it allows me to ethically steal customers from people that are too slow to get back to people. So, whoever gets back to them first has a greater chance of getting the money. So grab a copy of that at screwthecommute.com/automate free. While you're at it, pick up a copy of our podcast app at screwthecommute.com/app. That's APP, where you can put us on your cell phone and tablet and take us with you on the road. Now, I usually tell you all about my school and how it's good for you and it'll save you money, and from a 4-year education, which you don't even get educated anymore other than to learn how to protest. And then you're out competing for jobs at Starbucks. So yeah, I go into a lot of detail about that usually. But today I'm going to talk about the program we have going to help persons with disabilities go through the school. And Charlie is one of the folks. He's got vision of 2,500. And, I can't imagine what that would be like. But boy, he's the most upbeat guy ever. And so we're putting 5 people through the school. So not only can they learn at home, but they can legitimately work from home. So we'll tell you his story in a minute, but that's what we're doing. And we have a GoFundMe campaign at imtcva.org. This will all be in the show notes, and then /disabilities, plural. And you can click on the GoFundMe link, see all the people that are in the program so far. We're still reviewing a couple applications. We have another lady starting on the 30th of July who can't see anything other than a little bit of light. So this is a pilot program, and we're wanting to help these folks get hired or start their own business or both, and then roll it out really big by going after big companies and foundations to help finance a big rollout of this. And we're also going to hire folks with disabilities to help run the program. All right, so let's get to the main event here. Charlie Collins was legally blind since the age of 13 from juvenile macular degeneration. Charlie struggled with accepting his diagnosis and suffered tragic pitfalls of low self-esteem. And he chronicles this journey in his memoir, Tripping into the Light. I want everybody to get a copy of that today. He turned his challenging life circumstances around and now offers hope by teaching how to remove the blocks in our lives, develop a vision of success with clarity, and fulfill our life's true purpose. And the only reason I don't like him is his grass is cut nicer than mine. And so I feel kind of bad about that. But Charlie, are you ready to screw? The
Absolutely am.
commute. All right.
Yes.
Well, glad you're on here, man. So tell everybody what you're doing now in the school, what you're learning, what's going to mean to you. And then we're going to take you back and then come up through the struggles that you've had and how you overcame them.
Well, let me just start off by saying the commute has always been a big challenge for a guy who doesn't have a driver's license.
Yes, that's true.
So I like that title because, you know, my last few years at my retail business, I was walking back and forth to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you had a low vision center or something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for 19 years. So you asked, what am I, this school has been, one of the things I really love.
You weren't gonna say eye-opening, were you?
Yeah.
No.
It's very ear-opening. And I just love how it's chunked down to small bite sizes. Because if I think about, oh my God, that's a big to do, build that whole platform and learn everything behind what makes a website actually successful. But the way it was I started in it was chunked down to really nice bite-sized segments that, put the information in, give you a couple real nice videos, and then, I got to take a quiz.
Yep.
That's what you said. I said, Tom, I didn't know there was going to be. He said, well, you're in school.
Yeah, exactly.
Suck it up. And then I released my negative thoughts or any limiting belief I have. Oh, I'm not good at this and school isn't my thing. And I just said, stop with that and just go into this with an open mind. And I know anything I put my mind to and really work on, I can achieve. So that's what I did. And geez, I've learned so much, and I'm only in 1E.
Yes. Give us some examples of what you're learning and what you think you'll do with it.
Well, keywords was like the opener because it's like the foundation. It's the crux of what helps the spiders, those search mechanisms, kind of collect and tally the information to say, hey, you're looking how to get a job as a legally blind person. Well, look at that. We found a website that has lots of references to working while blind in articles, in titles, in meta tags, in picture descriptions. So I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't, and I don't mean it it's not rocket science. It's a formula, and done ethically. It can do wonderful things for me as the website owner, but for those who are actually looking for a solid integrity built platform to help them succeed in life. And that's what I was taking away from it. And of course, you gave us so many links and ways to search and to look. And then you said, and one of the funny things, lots of funny stuff in there too, by the way. I can see your personality in there all the time. Some really dumb questions that make me laugh in the quizzes. But, one of the things is like, and then you say, go ahead. Yeah, I know you want to make your website your name, but go search your name. See how many people are looking for you.
Exactly.
And I did. And I went, oh, that sucks. But we're going to make that change. But anyway, so then I started putting in words like, what problem do I want to solve? And how are those people thinking? What would they possibly be searching to help them along or to wake them up to the journey that's possible for them? And that was SEMrush and a couple of different tools. And I'm constantly copying and pasting and taking it into a document and titling each part of it, like, because I want to go back and review, so it's been awesome, Tom.
Now, how do you do that? So you copy and paste it, and then you have a screen reader read it back to you, or what? Or it's just giant and you read it yourself? How's it work?
I do some reading with my eyes with magnified print, but let's just say I use 42-inch or larger screens, and so I can get like 2 words, 3 words across
Right.
when I magnify it. So, people think, oh, just get a bigger screen. That's not the solution, because now I have a bigger area that I got to try to scan. And you mentioned in the beginning, 2,500 eyesight. So basically, if there was like, let's say there was a large A printed on a wall, and 20 feet away I could see it. Supposedly, they tell me that somebody with 20/20 sight 500 feet could see that too.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Amazing.
can't even, capture that. But I do know, like, I'll have binoculars and I'll look at something, and I'll say, "Wow, that's amazing." Then I'll be standing next to a sighted person, and they can see it better without the binoculars.
Yeah,
And I say,
yeah.
"That's you suck." I would be deadly with good eyes, I think.
So
So that was that. I just, I thought that was a great way to kick it off, because it's got my brain thinking about actually not just throwing a website together. It's like starting, like, a good home is built, a good life is built on a solid foundation.
that's for sure. Yeah, and that's why. Well, the first episode of Screw the Commute is all about keywords, and then we also upgraded it for voice search on episode 130 of this podcast, and so people don't search exactly by talking into their cell phones as they do when they're typing. Yeah, keywords are the foundation, that's for sure. So let's take you back. So you had total normal vision as a child?
Well, I guess so. I mean, at 9, I have 4 sisters, 1 brother, and my older brother and sister were struggling. I was starting to have a little trouble, but it was a learning disability, or they thought it was something, because it couldn't possibly be the eyes. And for some reason, some eye doctor suggested we go to Mass Eye and Ear in Boston, and I'm from Connecticut. I'm still here, and we jumped in the old Plymouth station wagon, all 8 of us. So my 4 sisters, brother, parents. Remember the cars, Tom, with the seat in the way back,
Yeah,
we called it, that faced the cars come following you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the one that if you open the back window, the exhaust would come back in the car. No, there were no catalytic converters back then.
Right.
My dad was puffing on a pipe. My mom was smoking Pall Malls, and here we go. So anyway, we went, and that's when I was diagnosed with juvenile macular degeneration, and it's basically Stargardt's disease. It's a form of macular degeneration that it's a recessive gene that your parents pass along. So not much there, but all of a sudden by age 13, when I went into school that day, I remember thinking, geez, the kids, I can hear everything, but things aren't, I'm not really seeing my buddies' faces and down the hall. And, I went into class that day, Tom, and the teacher says, and I said, they already put me in the front seat, labeling me as the big loser in the classroom, except they weren't. I felt that way already.
Yeah.
But, open to page 42, we're going to start reading. And I remember that gripping feeling inside thinking, I hate reading. I mean, because I couldn't do it well, because I couldn't see the print that well. And then off to gym class, and in gym class that day, I remember we played dodgeball.
Oh, geez.
And the 2 people that were going to pick the kids, I got picked last, because, they were no dummies. Who wants a blind guy on the team? I see it now, but back then, I'm 13.
Right.
Everything is like crushing around me. My life is just falling apart, and in a sighted world, and like, I'm not going to be able to be a jet fighter pilot, a cop, race cars. I'm not going to be able to be an FBI agent. All these exciting, fast, dangerous things I wanted to be were all taken away from me because of this little disease in the back of my eye. And I went home that day, and went in. Mom says, how was school? Fine. Like, I'm going to tell my mom I'm full of fear. Matter of fact, I never want to go to school again. I feel like such a loser. I don't fit in. I didn't, I just said things were fine. Well, I got mail that day from the state of Connecticut. So I opened it, and it was probably the first time I ever got mail. And I dumped it out, and in big print, I got a certificate. And it said, Charles J. Collins, you have been declared legally blind by the state of Connecticut.
Oh, man. Wow.
And I remember reading it and going, well, I can't wait to get this framed and hang it next to my Farrah Fawcett poster. It was just like, I just now thought, now the whole state knows that, I just, for some reason, labeled myself as a loser, and I was going nowhere in life. I was not going to amount to anything. I was struggling in school. I was struggling in relationships. I was struggling because I was afraid. I was depressed. I was full of fear, and there were no tools and no mentors and no people saying, hey, buddy, there's a way. But I had to figure that out on my own. And I had to do a lot of suffering and take a lot of wrong paths in order to figure out that, wait a minute, I do have a brain. Tom, we don't see with our eyes. We see with our brains. Mm-hmm. But my brain only saw despair, and it saw fear, and it saw, not possible. And that's what it saw. So that's what I got in life.
And then how did you start turning it around? Because this is about as far of a different person that I've known all these years.
Well, let's just say for 10 years, I turned to alcohol and things that I tried to find some peace and ease in my very perplexing mind and suffering. And one day I used to ride motocross bikes. Mm. And, people always say, but you're legally blind. I said, yeah, but trees can't sue you. and I actually got very good on one, and I would just keep learning the track. Because see, my center eyesight, I'll just explain, like, a camera, right? Yeah, you hold your nice DSLR and you point it, and then you hold down the shutter button. So it's blurry when you're looking through it, and you press it down and it zipped and it focuses, locks on nice and clear. That part of my eye doesn't work. It's the fovea. It's the smallest part of the retina, the one that does all the detailed vision, the one that lets you read, lets you drive, lets you see people in the distance. The one that does all that doesn't work in my eye, but my periphery does. So I can get around and do things, and just, it's just not clear. And I was riding motorcycles, and I was always up at a motorcycle dealership, and I used to cut the lawn there for them every week because I got a credit. And one day the owner came out, and he kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, hey, I got to ask you something. And I thought he was going to tell me that, I don't know what I was thinking when I allowed this legally blind guy to cut my lawn, but it looks like crap, and you got to stop doing it. But as you said in the beginning, Tom, I know how to cut a lawn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I take pride in that. So anyway, he offered me a job. He said, would you like to work here? And I was like, oh my God. I thought, why would he ever ask a legally blind loser if he wants to work here? And how did he know that I would love to, but I'm way too afraid? Well, I told him I'd have to think about it and get back to him. And I went home, Tom, and I told my mom, and she thought, wow, that's really good. I thought, no, that's crazy. I could never do it. I'm not smart enough. I only got out of high school. I tried college, but I failed out. And I didn't fail out. I feared out of college. But anyway, I went to bed that night in the same bed I had lied in for many, many nights, and cried myself to sleep. The same bed I used to look up into the sky, to the God of my misunderstanding, and say, please take me. I don't want to face another day.
Oh,
I slept that night, and I got up and I went and I saw Jimbo, and I said, Jim, I'll take the job, but I'm going to need some help. And it was the first time in my life at 23, I asked for help, or 22, 23. I don't know. But, and it was the beginning of my acceptance of my eye disease, because I was never going to get out of my own way. I was only going to drive myself into the ground if I kept up my path, which was not good. So I released some of the I don't know what happened, but I accepted. Didn't mean I had to like it, but I just accepted. Okay, I need some tools. I need some adaptive technology. I need a large print this and a better light here. I need some things because, in 1 year from that point, I became $1 million salesman. In 3 years, I was the VP and part owner of the company.
Wow.
And something shifted in me, in my brain, that said, that allowed me to do this. I was running this dealership. I mean, come on, we sold snowmobiles, motorcycles, ATVs, boat. It was my dreamland, and believe me, did I ride things.
So this
So
guy helped make it turn around.
yeah.
So
Oh, he did. You know what he said to me? I said, well, I don't, he could see my hesitation, and he said, Charlie, I believe in you. I know you're going to be an asset to the team, and they're going to do wonderful, amazing things here. I remember almost crying when he said, I believe in you, because I had zero belief in myself. I needed that. I needed to hear that. I needed to say, wait, somebody else believed in me. I'm not seeing something, they are. And that's a big success principle I always teach, is belief in yourself and belief that it's possible. Without those, you're never going to get out of your own way.
Is that guy still around?
Yeah, he's my buddy. I usually say in my speeches, this long bearded ZZ Top looking dude, Jimbo, the guy that owned the motorcycle dealership, my higher power.
Oh, that's wonderful. What a saint he was.
Yeah. But Tom, I took that and I left that and I started another company called Vision Dynamics. And it's like websites. It's like you see a problem and you build, I know you do this, or you see an opportunity, a place to create something that helps people along whatever journey they're on. And I saw that there was no path for people like me suffering from vision impairment. There was some state aid help, but please. That's like going to college. So I put it together. How the heck I had an idea, Tom. It just came. I was a friendly serve attendant at a mobile gas station after I left the dealership and sold my shares back. I said, why don't you open a retail environment to help people like you go from where they are to where it's possible they could be, and teach them and show them that it's possible. And I did. And the first year, by the second year, I hit 1 million. The fourth year, I hit 2 million. I'm hiring all sorts of people with disabilities. Heck, I used to put in articles. I was always said, we're the blind leading the blind. And I do discriminate. If you got perfect eyesight, you ain't gonna get a job. I used to joke around a lot, and I used to pay a lot, just like you're doing now. It's like I shine the light on, hey, these people have disabilities, okay, but that's not who they are. And they've, with the right training and mentorship and tools, they can work around, through, and above, and become incredibly good employees. And they were, for me, they were the best. We, you know what I mean? And that company just went on and did extremely well. And that's when I met you way back, because you helped me in the old days with the website, get that up and running really well. And I sold it in 2016, the company.
And so what have you been doing since then?
Oh, just sitting on my yacht smoking cigars. It's the only damn thing I can legally drive.
Well, I don't know about that. So this is a new chapter in your life, because you were the first one that applied for this scholarship.
Well, so that inner prompting, that something in me when I was in that business, it was too small. By that time, I had released my book, Tripping into the Light. I had been speaking. I started traveling, and I started getting hired. People like paying me to come out and speak it there. And I'm thinking, and then I'd have to go back to this little retail business. But, this little retail store was serving the government, state agencies. It was making a massive impact for such a little place in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And, but, something was saying you have more to do in a bigger footprint, more of a calling. You need to step out of this place and do that. And that's what I did. But I stayed in the industry because the companies that were made, they needed help. They needed more help with marketing, because these people were marketing the product. And Like you always know, we market the lifestyle, the benefit, the change it's going to make in the person, not the tool that is being used. And I did that for a few companies, and it was a lot of fun. And I got to travel all around internationally at times and speak and do little trainings, and I loved it because I was in my zone of genius, you know. But these companies merging and getting, I just can't stand working for anybody. You know, and now, you know, I started with a company this year, but it kind of, I started because I was going to build a system. It's so funny how we come back together, because I'm building a platform to help people with disabilities. I did it in the retail environment. Now I want to do it because the internet, what's out there, the tools available are just, I mean, there's no excuses anymore. You know, you can. And I wanted to build a platform. The first thing, Tom, the biggest problem out there is esteem, is confidence. You know, I always ask in my PDF, my presentations, especially when I'm doing big groups of vision impaired. So it might be parents and teachers and government officials, and it could be some people with disabilities and blindness in my presentations. And one of my slides says, what is the number one cause of blindness? And I'll ask, come on, popcorn some answers, people. And I'll start hearing names of eye disease. So those are all good answers, but they're all wrong. And then I'll hit my little clicker. The number one cause of blindness is thinking. You know, 70% plus of blind people are unemployed today. And it's not because they're dumb. It's because they have limiting beliefs. It's because they don't know they can. And that's the beginning. I'm done with that. That's ridiculous. You know, we all need to come from a place of meaning, purpose, you know, have something to do every day, not sit around and wait. There's always more month at the end of the money. Oh God, here comes my disability check. You know, I don't want to believe that story. So I want to help teach people how to see more clearly, and do it. And that was going to be a platform I was working on. It's gotten halted. And then all of a sudden I get this email from this dude, Tom Antion, who, guess what? I've unsubscribed over the years, the past 15, 20 years. I jump on this list off of it. Years I never unsubscribed from. I always keep an eye on what Tommy's up to.
Well, you'll be able to use the tools that you're learning in the school. And by the way, folks, Charlie is going to be one of the ones we hired to help run the program part-time. You know, you can see with his attitude, he's going to be very inspirational for the other folks in the program. You'll be able to use these tools for whichever way you want to go. You can just help more people. That's the whole thing with the reach of the internet. It's virtually infinite on the number of people you'll be able to get to.
Exactly. And when I was thinking I was going to build a financial platform to help people get jobs, and because with blind people, if you can get connected to a platform and internet and use braille and speech and low vision magnification, you can do lots of jobs, especially computer related jobs. Mm-hmm. So customer service. And then I remember thinking, I'm going to have to reach out to Tom when I'm ready, because he's going to need to, you know, we're going to have to come up with the platform that has, so people can learn how to start home-based businesses, run YouTube channels, do things like that. I don't have that training, but I know Tom does. And then, you know, I don't know, a month later, I get that email that says, hey, I'm doing exactly what you're thinking, Charlie.
I know, you must have sent it to me by telepathy. But yeah. Tell everybody about your book.
Sure. Well, my book, Tripping Into the Light, is a book that, you know, you heard some of it, but really goes into its warts and all. It's transparency. It's true human suffering, but with a happy ending. So, you know, it isn't. But I do know people who never get out of their own way. You know, I need to, Tom, we need to be relieved of the bondage of self. And you got to wake up to the fact that the prison, the suffering, the where you're stuck in life has been created by you. Now, doesn't mean that your parents, your parents could have enabled you and created this. Whatever outside of you, however you were raised. But you know what? You can break free of all that BS and live a better quality of life. And that's what my book, it goes through. Really, it's a manual of what not to do. And
Yeah.
then it goes, and it shows that transformation that I woke up to the truth that I've created the problems in my life that no one else has. And I am willing today to take responsibility. I have the ability to respond to the disease in my eyes, to the events of my life, and I get to create, start over, and do something with what I've learned. And that's the journey I'm on now. I can't understand why people don't want to live a better quality of life at times.
The concepts in this book would apply. I mean, your life experiences with vision, but one of the reasons I started the program was for mobility also, which certainly vision affects your mobility. But the things in your book, the mindset things, would apply to a lot of people, not just with low vision.
Yeah, I've got many. I mean, there's a bunch of reviews on Amazon, but 95% of people who read it are sighted. But we all have struggles in our life. We all have some sort of addictions at time. I mean, I'm a recovered alcoholic, so there's a lot about the turning to something outside of me. I always thought the problem was outside of me, and I thought the solution was outside of me, and I was wrong on both.
Yeah, I mean, you can't change unless it's from inside. That's for sure. So
yeah, and that's and that's what's so exciting about this school, is because I go from keywords, and then I learn about domains, and I learn about hosting, and it's like, oh, I needed to learn that. I needed to, I knew some of this, but I needed these refreshers. And again, the way your school just gives it nice bite sizes, it's like, you're not teaching, it's focused. This is it. And matter of fact, go to the internet and do a little homework, do a little research. You're not going to get anywhere just by reading this. This is a doing platform. And that I really appreciate.
Yeah. And you can get a lot of this stuff just by watching YouTube videos, but you're going to get 10 different opinions by people that never made a lot of money, and you're still going to be lost. So this is stuff, everything in here is stuff that's proven to have worked and has made me a lot of money over many years, and a lot of my students a lot of money. So it really cuts your learning curve and cuts your confusion curve. So tell people how they get a hold of you and where they get the book.
Okay, well, you do Amazon.com.
Tripping into the Light is the title.
Right? Search Tripping into the Light. You'll find my book. How to get a hold of me? Well, I mean, you can go to charliecollinsonline.com, but please don't harass me, because I'm embarrassed by that website. Now, the little bit I've been in the school, it's like, gosh, I should have known better, but that's okay.
Well, you'll fix it up. If they hear this a year from now, it'll be all different.
Oh, it will be.
Or
and that's how you can get in touch with me. Send an email to ccivision@gmail.com. However, I'm here to help. And Tom, I just want to say one other thing real quick, is that something with you, like you said, I can go, how to search a domain or something, or how to pick the right domain. And somebody's going to tell me, and then I'm going to go do it. But where you took it a step further was you took us through each of the 58 upsells at GoDaddy or one of those companies. And I'm nervous because they make it sound like if I don't buy this additional thing, I'm going to die.
Exactly, right.
And you walk us through that and say, no, just buy the dang domain.
Yeah, what he's talking about, folks, is these, first of all, I have a rule of thumb. If you see some type of web service on a national ad, you can be absolutely sure, without exception, they're targeting people that don't know any better. And then they're going to get you and scare you to death and upsell you from a $2 domain to your bill's $400 before you leave. So no, I don't let that happen. In fact, I don't even let my students spend any money on anything unless they ask me.
Yeah, you told us. You said, do not spend money unless I approve it. And the other clue was, if you have seen a commercial to get for your websites on through a Super Bowl, that's a warning.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yep. Well, thanks so much, Charlie. I'm so thrilled we're back together and you're making progress in the school and helping to change lives and inspiring the other students and everybody that hears this or is exposed to you. So I'm really proud to know you, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom. And together we're going to be able to accomplish a lot more than me. I was going at this alone, and things happen for a reason. And I'm so excited you're on the same path, basically.
All right, folks. So please get over there to imtcva.org/disabilities and hit the GoFundMe. You'll see a picture of Charlie with his face stuck in a keyboard, pretty much, and a screen bigger than your local drive-in theater. and contribute to this, and we're going to help a lot of people change their lives, and then roll it out really big when this phase of the pilot program is successful. So thanks everybody for your help. Thanks, Charlie. Tripping into the Light is his book. Get over there to Amazon and grab a copy today. All right, everybody, we'll catch y'all in the next episode. See you later.